Hey guys, welcome to series yet to be named. I'm your host Zantaric, and today we're going to be talking about ARES. This is a Smite series about what you need to watch out for when you are playing against gods. That being said, we'll go ahead and you'll notice I've already picked up my Blink and my Meditation Cloak. I did that simply because we're on training and we don't have to worry about relics at this particular junction. Blink is something you're almost always going to want to pick up as ARES because it allows you to chain with your ults pretty darn well. I'm going to go ahead and update it here for the sake of doing that. You kind of want to do that during the game. Now, I am primarily an arena player. I will never deny that I love arena way more than I love conquest. Sorry, conquest, baby, you're not quite right for me. That being said, I'm more of a lax player when it comes to whether we win or not. Or am I happy if we do win? Absolutely. Do I care if we lose? Not really. I mean, there's some times where I'm like, man, that was a hard loss. But hey, that being said, you'll notice my attitude towards what you should build usually changes based on what you're playing as. I know, duh, right? So you'll notice I picked up Reinforced Shoes, which are great for ARES because of this passive there where you get CC reduction, and every time you get damaged, you get an extra stack of physical and magical protections. It stacks up to 7 times, lasts 6 seconds. Great. I've also picked up Void Stone. Now, if you are an ARES and you are solo queuing, look at who you's on your team before you pick up your second item. Look at who's on the enemy team. Make smart choices, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That being said, if you notice an enemy ARES on the other team, and they have picked up Voidstone, that can tell you a lot about who they plan to combo with. If they have a Poseidon, a high damage mage, Zeus, etc. on their team, odds are they are going to pop their ult, drag you in, and then kill you with the ult of the other teammates. So a lot of times you'll see an ARES engage like this.
I have you now.
And it drags everyone with him. Now, these are bots and they're locked to the floor, so that doesn't really work for them. But you get what I'm saying. Alright. Now, that being said, if you're playing against all physical enemies, you're going to want to pick up Sovereignty. If you're playing against mostly magical, you're going to pick up Heartward. They do the same exact thing. They give you extra health and protections. Namely, Heartward gives you magical, Sovereignty gives you physical. I've rehearsed this more than a few times because I fucked it up on previous takes. Now, that being said, there is a build where you build nothing but aura items for ARES, because his passive gives you an extra 30 additional magic power for every aura item you pick up. So, if we go to all items and we go to aura down here, any one of these items will give you increased power when you build it. So my usual build for ARES, depending on what we're playing, is say we're in a arena game and we have 3 high damage magical characters and 2 high damage physical characters. I'm not going to name names. Loki. I have an irrational hatred of Loki, as you'll get to it. So, with that kind of build, we would probably build Heartward and then Mystical Mail. Now, Mystical Mail also gives you physical protections, but it also has the added bonus of dealing magical damage per second within 25 units of you. Now, those 2 items being built, next thing you're going to want to pick up is probably Relic Dagger, which increases the cooldowns for your relics. And the last thing I like to pick up, if we are steamrolling, we have a mage on our team that is doing all the heavy lifting, Pythagoras Piece. Give that additional magical lifesteal and magic power. It gives them extra power and lifesteal. Now, if we have a mage who's keeping everyone alive, I'll pick up Rod of Asclepius. It's all depending on what's going on. If they have healing on their team, Pestilence is a good pick. If we want to just be the guy who reduces powers, pick up Jade Emperor's Crown. Now, there's also something to be said about picking up other magical items, such as the Gem of Isolation, because chained with your 1 and 3rd abilities, that really does help a lot. Every time you hit an enemy with a damaging ability, they move 25% slower for 2 seconds. Your 3 is a dot, and your 2 is a escape preventing dot, supposedly. So let's go ahead and talk about those abilities real quick. You'll notice I didn't actually buy an item. So first ability, you send out chains in a straight line, and every time you hit one, you can send out another chain. Now, that being said, those chains only have an effective radius of... Interesting. Those chains only have an effective radius of, what was it, I think 50? It doesn't say. But if they move far enough away from you, you will not keep that chain on them. See? It will go away. Now, if you miss your chain shot, you cannot do it until your cooldown resets. Duh. Same as if you miss the second one, you can't send the third one out. Alright, now, moving on to your next one. Your next ability is your second ability, which, when you press it, it increases your protections to all your allies around you as well. You'll notice that they have this chain circle thing beneath them, and while they do that, they have increased protections. Now, number 3 is the fire dot, and it does some serious damage. So what you'll see in Ares do is you'll see him chain, and then fire, and he'll chase you doing this if you did not die from the fire. Alright, now, next is his ult. So what you'll see is him dive in with his ult and pull backwards.
I have you now!
Like this. And that will stun and pull you. So when he does that, there are 2 things you can do. You can pop an ability that negates CC, for example, Ares' ult, or Baron Samdi's ult. A lot of ults that turn you gold negate CC. Or you can pop the item that we really should talk about, Purification Bead. Always buy a Purification Bead if you are not confident in your ability to negate it with an ability. That means you, Dave. You've never played this game before, you just picked it up on Switch, and you don't know what that big god who throws chains around is going to do to you if he catches you with that. If he catches you with it, he will kill you. No joke. I have seen people like, nah, the Ares can't kill me. The Ares is not the one you should be scared of. It's the Poseidon or the Zeus that are right next to the Ares. So, you'll notice that you can also cancel out your ability if you right-click. So, as this is a computer,
You just styled on them.
there we go.
Nice move.
As you'll notice that since it was a computer, you'll find it easier for them to hit you. But usually, if you do sort of like a side strafey motion, maybe a figure 8, enemies will have a hard time hitting you, especially those pesky auto attack heroes. Alright, that being said, if you are playing as Ares, there are some things you need to look at. If you are out on your own and you're against an auto attack hero, the chances of you dying are fairly high. If you are out on your own and you're fighting against, let's go with an Apollo, Apollos will kill you 9 times out of 10. Because their passive ability makes them fire faster after, I think, 10 shots. Now, a lot of Apollos and anti-hunters, we'll talk about them in a later video, but a lot of them will build attack speed and crit. So they turn into what is effectively a machine gun. That being said,
I have you now!
go ahead and just do that. And again, it affects everyone around them. So if you had perhaps a Poseidon on your team who would summon the Kraken as soon as you hit the ground, that would do a ton of damage, especially when you stack on Voidstone. So things you should be working for Ares. You should not be trying to get kills. That being said, if you do get the kill, congratulations, you've gotten a kill. And hopefully you're playing with a team that doesn't get too mad at you in Arena if you get a kill as an Ares. Because when you're playing in Arena, the mindset shifts from personal glory to what can I do that makes this this game go way harder for the enemy team. There's what I was talking about earlier. You can't shoot more if you miss. So a lot of times when I am playing ARES, I go for the assists, not the kills. At the end of the game, your primary stat that you should be looking at is damage mitigation and maybe player damage if you're a bit narcissistic. Now, I hope you find this helpful for you, and my next video will probably jump into an arena game as ARES, and we'll have changed up the skins a bit, so the skills might look a bit different, but maybe I can get my friend Orifel in here, who is one of the people I play with a lot. And yeah, so thanks for listening through this entire 10, 11-ish minute video. If you liked it, go ahead and just, again, give it a like. I plan to do this for a couple more gods because there's some things that you really need to know, especially if you are new to this game. Oh, well, there he goes. I guess he's not going to be joining me. That being said, this has been Zan. Have a good day, guys.